Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are digging into a really tough question, a real economic puzzle. Why has Latin America struggled for decades to achieve the kind of sustained growth that would lift its people up?
All right, so let's get right to it. This is the central mystery that's fascinated and frustrated economists for years. You've got two regions, both considered emerging, right? But for the last 30 years, they've been on totally different paths. So what gives?
And this chart, wow, it just lays it all out there, doesn't it? That red line, that's East Asia and the Pacific, just climbing steadily upward. But then you look at the black line for Latin America, and it's just this up and down roller coaster that never really seems to get anywhere.
So to really get what's happening, we need to look at the report card, so to speak. And it turns out it's not just about how fast you're growing, but also about how bumpy the ride is. Okay, so check this out. This chart maps out risk versus reward. The place you want to be is that top left corner that's high growth and low volatility. And look who's hanging out there. China and the rest of East Asia. That's the sweet spot. Now, try to find Latin America. Yep, right there. Kind of stuck in the middle, with less growth and a whole lot more volatility. That is just a much harder game to play.
But the heart of the problem goes deeper than just slow growth. It's really about a fundamental gap in efficiency. And this is where the story gets really interesting. This chart right here is the smoking gun. That red line, that's Latin American productivity compared to the US. And it's actually going down over time. I mean, look at that. At the same time, Asia's blue line is just steadily climbing. So it's not just that the engine is sputtering, it's that they're actually falling further behind the leaders. Okay, so why is the engine failing? What are the missing parts? Well, let's pop the hood and start with something super basic, investing in the future.
And the first missing part, honestly, it's just staggering. Think about it this way. For every single dollar Asia Pacific puts into public infrastructure, Latin America puts in only about a quarter. We're talking about the absolute foundations of an economy: roads, ports, power grids. And, well, no surprise, that lack of investment means lower quality. You can see it right here in these charts. No matter what you look at, roads, ports, railways, Latin America is lagging. And what does that do? It makes everything more expensive and less efficient. It's a huge drag on the whole economy.
Okay, missing part number 2, innovation. The region puts, on average, just 0.5% of its entire economic output into R&D. To put that in perspective, that's 5 times less than developed countries. And if you're not investing in R&D, you're just not building the industries of tomorrow.
And a last missing piece is human capital, the people. This chart is pretty telling. See that cluster in the bottom left? That's most of Latin America. Low spending on education and low student test scores. What's really telling is that even in countries that did boost spending, the results just didn't show up. That tells you the problems are really deep-seated in the system itself. So you've got a weak engine. But on top of that, it's like the car has no shock absorbers. So every little bump in the global road sends the whole economy flying, leading to these terrible cycles of boom and bust. And these two charts really show you the region's split personality. Over on the left, that's South America. You can see its economy just lurches up and down right along with commodity prices, super volatile. But then on the right, you've got Central America and Mexico, and their economies are dancing to a much steadier beat, the US business cycle. It's that dependence on commodities that leaves so much of the region exposed. This whole situation has a name, They call it the doble Nelson. That's Spanish for a full Nelson, like the wrestling hold. And it's the perfect metaphor, right? You're caught in this painful, inescapable economic squeeze. And it happens in 3 brutal steps. 1, the price of your main exports, like oil or copper, suddenly tanks. 2, at the same time, international investors get spooked and pull all their money out. 3, you're squeezed from both sides. And boom, you're in a crisis that can erase years of hard-won progress. And this chart shows the real human cost of all that instability. Just look at the poverty rate. During the good times, the commodity boom, they made incredible progress. But the second that boom ended around 2012, it all just stops. It flatlines. And in some cases, it even gets worse. A stark reminder that this isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. Okay, so here's the really crucial thing to understand. These two huge problems we've been talking about, the weak productivity engine and that unstable roller coaster ride, they aren't separate issues. They're connected. They actually feed on each other. It's a vicious cycle, really. It goes like this.
Low productivity means people's lives don't get better very quickly. That makes people frustrated and angry, which leads to political instability. And what happens when there's instability? Investors get scared. They don't want to make those big long-term bets on infrastructure or new technology that are needed to, you guessed it, boost productivity. It's a total catch-22. And this quote from our source material just nails it. All that stagnation and crisis leads to this deep, growing dissatisfaction, not just with the economy, but with the politicians, with the whole system. People just feel like it's failing to deliver a better future. So the million-dollar question is, how do you break out of this cycle? Well, leading economists argue there's no magic wand. It's more like a recipe with several key ingredients. You need a stable environment for businesses, you need social stability, and you have to be really smart about how you connect with the rest of the world. It's about building a strong foundation, piece by piece. But in the end, this isn't just about economic policy, is it? It's fundamentally a political challenge. It's about getting everyone across society and the political spectrum to agree on a long-term plan and then actually stick to it, even when it's hard. And that leaves us with the big unanswered question. Can Latin America finally build the consensus it needs to break this historic cycle of boom and bust for good?